Have you ever wondered what it feels like to stand at the edge of creation itself? To watch molten lava glow in the heart of an active volcano, to glide across the calm waters of a lake that seems endless, or to wander streets where centuries of history whisper through every cobblestone. Welcome to Nicaragua, a land where fire and water meet, where lush forests conceal hidden life, and where every corner tells a story of resilience, culture, and wonder. In the next few minutes, we're taking you on a journey through the most breathtaking landscapes, ancient traditions, and vibrant communities of this remarkable country. Stay with us, because Nicaragua is not just a place you visit, it's a place you feel. Before the world fully wakes up, there is a place where the earth still breathes fire and water shapes every horizon. A land where volcanoes rise like ancient guardians, where vast lakes mirror the sky, and where nature feels raw, alive, and untouched. This is Nicaragua, a country that does not announce itself loudly, but reveals its power slowly, through heat, silence, and wonder. From the moment you arrive, you sense it. This is not a destination built for spectacle. This is a place that feels real, elemental, and unforgettable. Nicaragua sits at the heart of Central America, yet it feels worlds apart from anywhere else. It is shaped by forces far older than cities or borders. Fire flows beneath its soil, water carves its landscapes, and life adapts in harmony with both. Volcanoes dominate the skyline, some sleeping, some restless, all reminders that this land is alive. Their presence is not distant. It is felt in the warmth of the ground, in the fertile soil, and in the quiet respect locals hold for nature's power. Stretching across the country is Lake Nicaragua, one of the largest freshwater lakes in the Americas. At first glance, it feels like an ocean, vast and calm, stretching endlessly toward the horizon. But look closer, and the lake tells a deeper story. Small fishing boats glide across its surface. Distant islands rise gently from the water. Life here moves at a pace set by the wind and the sun. This lake is not just geography. It is a lifeline, a mirror of the sky, and a symbol of Nicaragua's balance between strength and serenity. Surrounding the lake, the land rolls and rises, shaped by volcanic chains that run like a spine through the country. These volcanoes are not silent backdrops. They define the rhythm of life. Crops grow rich in mineral soil. Towns sit in the shadows of towering cones. Even the air feels charged, as if the earth itself is constantly reminding you of its presence. In places like Masaya, the glow of lava can sometimes be seen after dark, a rare and humbling reminder that creation and destruction are never far apart. Yet Nicaragua is not only fire, it is also water in motion. Rivers wind through jungles and plains, carrying stories from the mountains to the sea. Rainforests thrive in the east, dense and alive with sound. Birds call from unseen branches, insects hum in layered rhythms, and every step feels like entering a living system untouched by hurry. This biodiversity is not curated or staged. It exists freely, offering moments of awe to those willing to slow down and listen. The Pacific Ocean crashes against Nicaragua's western edge, while the Caribbean Sea shapes the east. Two coasts, two moods, one country. On the Pacific side, the land feels open and dramatic. Waves roll in endlessly, sunsets burn orange and red, and the air carries salt and freedom. On the Caribbean side, life moves differently. The forests are thicker, the culture is more diverse, and the connection to the sea deeper and older. Together, these coastlines frame Nicaragua as a land of contrast, where every direction leads to a new experience. What makes Nicaragua truly remarkable is how these landscapes remain largely unspoiled. Tourism has arrived, but it has not overtaken the country's soul. Many places still feel undiscovered, not because they are hidden, but because they are respected. Roads lead to quiet towns, not crowded attractions. Viewpoints overlook nature, not noise. There is space here, both physical and emotional, to experience the world without distraction. This sense of authenticity extends to daily life. People rise with the sun, greet neighbors with ease, and move with purpose rather than rush. Markets overflow with color and sound. Fresh fruit, local coffee, and handmade goods reflect a connection to land and tradition. There is resilience here, shaped by history and hardship, but also warmth, pride, and an unmistakable sense of belonging. As you journey through Nicaragua, it becomes clear that this country cannot be understood from a single place or moment. It reveals itself slowly through changing landscapes and quiet encounters. Fire and water exist side by side, not in conflict, but in balance. Volcanoes give life as much as they threaten it. Lakes calm as much as they inspire. And within this balance, Nicaragua finds its identity. This is a land that invites exploration without demanding it, a place that rewards curiosity, patience, and presence. Nicaragua does not try to impress you. It simply exists, powerful and honest. And once you step into its world of fire, water, and untamed beauty, it stays with you, long after the journey begins. There is a moment when history stops feeling distant and suddenly surrounds you, where every step echoes with stories centuries old. In Nicaragua, that moment arrives the instant you enter Granada. The colors, the light, the quiet confidence of the streets all signal that this is not just a city you visit, but a place you experience. From the first glance, Granada feels timeless, as if the past has learned how to live comfortably in the present. Founded in the early 16th century, Granada is one of the oldest colonial cities in the Americas. Yet its age is not worn or faded. Instead, it feels alive, preserved, not behind glass, but within everyday life. Brightly painted facades line cobblestone streets. Wooden doors open into shaded courtyards filled with flowers, fountains, and soft conversation. The city breathes at an unhurried pace, inviting you to slow down and notice the details. As you move through the streets, architecture becomes a language of its own. Churches rise with quiet authority, their stone walls carrying centuries of faith, resilience, and survival. The Cathedral of Granada stands at the heart of the city, facing the central park, its pale exterior glowing under the tropical sun. Around it, life unfolds naturally. Vendors sell fruit and sweets, families gather on benches, horse-drawn carriages pass by, adding a gentle rhythm to the air. Nothing feels staged, everything feels real. Beyond the city center, Granada opens toward Lake Nicaragua, and with it, an entirely different sense of space. The lake stretches endlessly, blurring the line between water and sky. Scattered across its surface are hundreds of small islets, formed by ancient volcanic activity. Each one feels like a secret, carrying its own quiet charm. Palm trees lean toward the water, birds nest in branches that hover above gentle waves. The lake reflects not just clouds, but a way of life deeply connected to nature. Boat rides through these islets reveal a softer side of Nicaragua. Homes sit peacefully at the water's edge. Fishermen move slowly, guided by experience rather than urgency. The air feels cooler here, carrying the sound of water against wood and distant bird calls. It is a reminder that Granada is not defined only by its streets and buildings, but by its relationship with the land and lake that surround it. Culture in Granada is not confined to museums or monuments. It exists in music drifting from open windows, in conversations held at doorways, and in the gentle humor exchanged between strangers. Art galleries and workshops are tucked into old buildings, blending creativity with history. Painters, sculptors, and craftsmen draw inspiration from the city's colors and stories, adding new layers to Granada's evolving identity. As evening approaches, the city changes tone without losing its soul. The light softens, casting warm hues across walls and rooftops. Cafes fill with quiet conversation. The central park becomes a gathering place, where locals and visitors share space effortlessly. Church bells echo through the streets, not as a call, but as a reminder of continuity. Granada does not rush into night. It eases into it. What makes Granada remarkable is not just its beauty, but its resilience. The city has endured pirates, political upheaval, and natural challenges, yet it remains open, welcoming, and proud. Its streets carry memory without weight, history without heaviness. There is a sense that Granada has learned how to hold the past gently, allowing it to inform the present rather than dominate it. Walking here feels intimate. You are never just passing through. You are participating, even briefly, in a living story. Children play under the same balconies that watch generations grow. Markets stand where traders once gathered centuries ago, and yet nothing feels frozen in time. Granada moves forward, quietly, confidently, on its own terms. By the time you leave, Granada lingers in your thoughts, not because of grand landmarks or dramatic moments, but because of how it made you feel. Calm, connected, grounded. It is a place that reminds you that history does not always roar. Sometimes, it whispers through color, light, and human warmth. And in those whispers, Granada reveals itself as one of Nicaragua's most enduring and unforgettable treasures. There is a city in Nicaragua where ideas once sparked revolutions, where words carried weight, and where the land itself seems to echo with defiance and creativity. León does not introduce itself gently. It reveals its identity through bold contrasts, deep history, and a restless energy that has shaped the nation's soul. From the moment you arrive, you feel it. This is a place where thought, struggle, and art have always mattered. León is often called the intellectual heart of Nicaragua, and that reputation runs deep. For generations, it has been the center of political movements, literary voices, and cultural debate. Its streets have witnessed protests, celebrations, and moments that changed the direction of the country. Yet León is not trapped by its past. It wears its history openly, using it as fuel rather than weight. At the center of the city rises the Cathedral of León, massive and commanding. It is the largest cathedral in Central America, and its presence feels symbolic. From its white rooftop, the city unfolds in every direction. Red-tiled houses stretch toward the horizon, and beyond them, volcanoes rise like silent witnesses. Standing here, you feel a scale of both human ambition and natural power, coexisting in quiet tension. León's relationship with volcanoes is intimate and dramatic. Just outside the city, volcanic peaks dominate the landscape, shaping the skyline and influencing daily life. Cerro Negro, young and dark, stands out with its ash-covered slopes. It is raw and unforgiving, yet it draws people in. The land here reminds you that creation is often born from destruction, and that beauty can emerge from the most hostile environments. Walking through León's neighborhoods reveals a city rich in character. Murals cover walls, telling stories of resistance, identity, and hope. These artworks are not decorative. They are voices, expressions of collective memory, and ongoing conversation. Every color and figure reflects a chapter of Nicaragua's struggle and resilience. In León, art does not hide in galleries. It lives in the streets. Despite its intense history, León carries warmth and openness. Markets buzz with life, filled with the scent of fresh food and the sound of everyday exchange. Students move between universities, cafes, and libraries, continuing a tradition of learning and debate. The city's youthful energy blends naturally with its deep roots, creating a sense of constant renewal. Nature is never far from León's urban core. A short journey takes you to beaches where the Pacific crashes with relentless force. The coastline here feels wild and unpolished, mirroring the city's own spirit. Winds shape the land, waves carve the shore, and sunsets arrive in powerful bursts of color. These moments offer balance, reminding you that León's intensity is grounded by the natural world surrounding it. As the day fades, León shifts once again. Evening brings conversation to sidewalks and doorways. Music drifts through the air, blending with the distant sounds of the city settling in. The heat softens, and the streets glow under warm lights. There is a sense of continuity here, of life moving forward while carrying its history openly. What defines León is not just what has happened here, but how the city remembers. It does not erase its struggles, nor does it glorify them blindly. Instead, León reflects, questions, and evolves. It teaches that identity is shaped through dialogue, through challenge, and through the courage to imagine something better. To experience León is to understand a different side of Nicaragua, one that is bold, thoughtful, and unapologetically expressive. It is a city that asks you to engage, to think, and to feel. And long after you leave its streets and volcano-lined horizons behind, León stays with you, not as a memory of place, but as a reminder of the power of ideas and the resilience of the human spirit. There are places where the ground beneath your feet feels solid and predictable. And then there is Nicaragua, where the earth reminds you that it is alive. In this land, volcanoes are not distant silhouettes on the horizon. They are present, powerful, and deeply woven into the experience of the country. Standing before them, you do not simply observe nature. You feel it, watching back. Nicaragua is home to one of the most active volcanic regions in the world. A chain of volcanoes stretches across the country, shaping its landscapes, climate, and history. These towering forms rise suddenly from plains and lakes, their slopes etched by lava flows, ash, and time. Some sleep quietly, covered in green vegetation. Others remain restless, breathing smoke and heat into the sky. Together, they form the fiery backbone of the nation. Masaya Volcano is one of the most striking examples of this raw power. It is one of the few places on Earth where you can stand so close to an active lava lake. As you approach, the air grows warmer, heavier. The smell of sulfur fills your senses, sharp and unmistakable. From the crater's edge, glowing lava churns deep below, a reminder of the molten world hidden beneath the surface. It is both mesmerizing and humbling, a moment that strips away any illusion of control. At night, Masaya becomes even more dramatic. The darkness amplifies the glow from within the crater, casting an eerie light into the sky. Watching the lava move feels almost unreal, as if the planet itself is revealing a secret. There is fear in this moment, but also wonder. You realize how small you are, and how vast the forces of nature truly are. Further north rises Cerro Negro, young, raw, and unmistakable. Its black ash slopes stretch outward like a scar across the land. Unlike other volcanoes softened by time, Cerro Negro feels exposed, almost unfinished. Climbing it is a physical challenge. Each step sinks into loose volcanic rock, making progress slow and deliberate. The sun beats down, the wind cuts across the open slope, and the silence feels immense. From the summit, the view is breathtaking. The land spreads out in all directions, dotted with towns, fields, and distant peaks. Here, you can see how volcanoes shape not just terrain, but life itself. The soil below is rich and fertile, supporting agriculture that feeds communities across the region. What once erupted in fire now gives life through abundance. Volcanoes in Nicaragua are not treated as obstacles or threats alone. They are respected, studied, and integrated into daily life. Towns sit near their bases. Farmers work their land, knowing its origin. Stories and traditions are passed down, blending science, spirituality, and lived experience. These mountains are not just geological features. They are part of the national identity. Beyond Masaya and Cerro Negro, other volcanoes rise quietly, each with its own presence. Some are covered in forest, hiding their volcanic past beneath layers of green. Others reveal their origins openly, marked by hardened lava and jagged rock. Together, they create a landscape that feels dramatic and honest, shaped by time and transformation, rather than design. What makes Nicaragua's volcanoes so powerful is not just their activity, but the way they coexist with human life. Roads curve around them, cities grow nearby. People adapt, aware of the risks but unwilling to abandon the land that sustains them. There is courage in this balance, and trust in the rhythms of nature. As you move through these volcanic regions, the sense of energy never fades. Even in stillness, there is movement beneath the surface. The land feels charged, as if it carries memory and intention. Every crater, every ridge, tells a story of destruction, followed by renewal, of chaos giving way to life. In Nicaragua, volcanoes are more than landmarks. They are reminders of the planet's power, of humanity's fragility, and of the beauty that can rise from fire. To witness them is to stand at the edge of creation itself, where the earth continues to shape the world, one eruption, one breath, one moment at a time. There are places that feel like they exist outside of time, where water, land, and sky come together in perfect balance. In Nicaragua, that feeling reaches its fullest expression on Lake Nicaragua and the island of Ometepe. Rising from the lake like a vision, Ometepe feels less like a destination and more like a discovery, a place where nature speaks softly but carries deep meaning. Lake Nicaragua stretches across the heart of the country, vast and calm, reflecting clouds and light with quiet confidence. Its surface often appears endless, blurring the boundary between lake and horizon. This body of water has shaped life here for centuries. It supports fishing communities, guides transportation, and anchors traditions that continue to this day. The lake is not just scenery. It is the rhythm of daily life. From the water, Ometepe slowly takes shape. Two volcanoes rise dramatically from the lake, connected by a narrow strip of land. Concepcion stands tall and near perfect in form, its symmetrical cone commanding attention. Madeiras, softer and more forested, feels mysterious and ancient. Together, they create a landscape that feels almost unreal, as if drawn from myth rather than geology. Stepping onto Ometepe brings an immediate sense of calm. The pace slows, the noise fades, and nature takes the lead. Dirt roads wind through small villages where life moves with the sun. Houses sit open to the breeze. Children play freely. The island feels lived in, not visited, and that distinction defines its charm. Nature dominates every corner of Ometepe. Dense forests cover the slopes of Madeiras, alive with birds, monkeys, and the subtle sounds of hidden life. Trails lead upward into mist and greenery, where the air grows cooler and quieter with each step. At higher elevations, clouds drift through trees, creating an atmosphere that feels both grounded and dreamlike. The slopes of Concepcion tell a different story. Here, the land is shaped by lava and ash, raw and exposed in places. Yet even this harsh terrain supports life. Fields of crops grow in rich volcanic soil. Farmers work the land with patience and respect, understanding its power and generosity. The volcano provides, even as it demands humility. Scattered across the island are ancient petroglyphs carved into stone, silent reminders of civilizations that lived here long before modern borders existed. These markings speak of spiritual connection, of people who saw the land as sacred. Standing before them, you feel a continuity that transcends time, linking past and present through shared reverence for nature. Water is never far away on Ometepe. Natural springs offer cool relief. Small beaches line the shore, where the lake feels gentle and inviting. The water moves slowly, mirroring the island's rhythm. Swimming here feels different, quieter, as if the lake absorbs sound and thought alike. As evening approaches, the island transforms once more. The light softens, casting long shadows across fields and villages. The volcanoes glow subtly against the sky, their silhouettes both protective and imposing. Nights are calm, filled with stars and the distant sounds of nature. There is space here for reflection, for stillness, for connection. What makes Ometepe unforgettable is not just its beauty, but its balance. Fire and water coexist without conflict. Humanity lives in harmony with powerful natural forces. Life feels stripped down to what matters most. There is no rush, no performance, only presence. Lake Nicaragua and Ometepe do not ask to be conquered or consumed. They invite you to listen, to observe, to feel. In doing so, they offer something rare in the modern world. A reminder that peace can be found not in escape, but in alignment with the land, the water, and the quiet wisdom of nature itself. There is a moment when the land ends and the rhythm changes, when the air tastes of salt and the horizon opens wide. In Nicaragua, the coast is not a single story. It is two worlds shaped by different seas, different cultures, and different moods. From the raw energy of the Pacific to the soulful calm of the Caribbean, Nicaragua's shores reveal some of the most powerful and surprising faces of the country. Along the Pacific coast, the ocean arrives with force and confidence. Waves roll in endlessly, carving the shoreline with precision and power. This is a coast defined by movement. Beaches stretch wide and open, framed by cliffs, forests, and volcanic landforms that remind you how close fire and water truly are. The sand feels warm underfoot, darkened in places by volcanic minerals, a quiet signature of the land's origins. Here, the days begin early. The sun rises over inland volcanoes while the ocean remains restless, already alive with sound. Surfers move into the water before the heat settles in, reading the waves with patience and respect. Fishing boats drift along the horizon, their silhouettes small against the vastness of the sea. Life on the Pacific coast is shaped by tides and timing, by knowing when to wait and when to move. As the sun climbs higher, the beaches reveal their quieter side. Palms sway gently, casting long shadows. The wind carries a sense of freedom, and even silence feels expansive. These are places where nature dominates, where development steps back and allows the landscape to lead. The coastline feels honest and unpolished, offering space rather than spectacle. When evening approaches, the Pacific puts on one of Nicaragua's most unforgettable displays. The sky ignites with color. Deep oranges, reds, and purples stretch across the horizon as the sun sinks into the ocean. The sound of waves becomes steadier, almost meditative. It is a moment that slows time, reminding you how powerful simple beauty can be. On the opposite side of the country, the Caribbean coast tells a very different story. Here, the sea feels warmer, calmer, and more intimate. The shoreline is lined with lush vegetation, and the air carries a softer, heavier humidity. Life unfolds at a slower pace, guided by tradition, music, and deep connection to the water. The Caribbean coast reflects a rich blend of cultures shaped by African, indigenous, and Caribbean influences. This diversity is felt in language, food, and rhythm. Music drifts through villages, blending with the sound of waves and wind through palm leaves. The sea here is not something to challenge, but something to live with, something familiar and deeply respected. The water on the Caribbean side moves differently. It laps gently against the shore, inviting rather than demanding. Coral reefs lie beneath the surface, alive with color and motion. Fish move through clear water, and boats glide easily across the sea. It is a coast that feels nurturing, offering sustenance and calm in equal measure. Between these two coasts lies a powerful contrast that defines Nicaragua itself. The Pacific speaks of energy, strength, and raw beauty. The Caribbean whispers of heritage, harmony, and depth. Together, they frame the country with balance, showing how different forces can shape one land without conflict. What makes Nicaragua's coastlines truly special is how untouched they remain. Many beaches still feel undiscovered, not because they are hidden, but because they are protected by distance and respect. Here, nature sets the rules. The ocean leads, humans follow. Standing at the edge of either sea, you feel the same truth emerge. Nicaragua is not about excess or perfection. It is about authenticity. The coast does not perform, it simply exists. Powerful and patient, offering moments of awe to those willing to pause and listen. Whether facing the thunder of Pacific waves or the gentle breath of the Caribbean Sea, Nicaragua's shores leave a lasting impression. They remind you that beauty does not need to shout. Sometimes, it arrives with the tide, stays for a moment, and quietly becomes part of you. There are places where nature feels organized, carefully framed and controlled. And then there is Nicaragua's wild heart, where life grows freely, loudly, and without apology. This is a land where forests stretch deep and dense, where rivers carve their own paths, and where every sound reminds you that you are a guest in an ancient living system. Here, the natural world does not decorate the country. It defines it. Nicaragua's rainforests are alive with movement, even when they appear still. Tall trees rise in layers, their canopies filtering sunlight into shifting patterns of green and gold. Vines twist around trunks, moss clings to branches, and leaves overlap like endless pages of a story still being written. The air is heavy with moisture and scent, carrying the earthy smell of soil, bark, and rain. Walking into these forests feels like stepping into another rhythm. The modern world fades quickly. Sounds of traffic and voices are replaced by birds calling from above, insects humming close by, and unseen animals moving through the undergrowth. Every step feels intentional, as if the forest asks you to slow down, to listen before moving forward. Wildlife here is both abundant and elusive. Monkeys swing through the trees, their calls echoing across the canopy. Brightly colored birds flash between branches, too fast to fully track, leaving behind only color and sound. Frogs cling to leaves near water, their presence revealed more by voice than sight. Even when animals remain hidden, their presence is undeniable. The forest feels aware. Rivers flow quietly through this landscape, shaping it over centuries. They carry rainwater from mountains to sea, nourishing the land as they pass. Along their banks, life gathers. Plants grow thicker. Animals come to drink. Villages rise nearby, built in harmony with the water's rhythm. These rivers are not barriers. They are lifelines. In places like the Indio Maiz Biological Reserve, the wilderness feels especially powerful. This region remains one of the most untouched areas in Central America, a sanctuary where ecosystems function as they have for thousands of years. Here, nature operates on its own terms. There are no shortcuts, no guarantees, only immersion. The experience is not about observation alone, it is about presence. Rain arrives suddenly in these forests, often without warning. One moment, the air is still. The next, it is filled with the sound of falling water. Leaves tremble under the weight of rain, and the forest seems to breathe deeper. Rather than disrupting life, rain energizes it. Colors sharpen, scents grow richer, movement increases. This cycle of rain and growth defines the land. What makes Nicaragua's wilderness remarkable is its resilience. Despite challenges and pressures, these ecosystems continue to thrive where they are protected and respected. Communities living near these forests understand their value, not just as resources, but as guardians of balance. There is an unspoken understanding that survival depends on harmony, not dominance. Time behaves differently in the wild. Hours pass without notice. The urgency of schedules disappears. Instead, attention shifts to smaller details. The pattern of light through leaves, the texture of bark under your fingers, the distant call of an animal you never see. These moments anchor you in the present, grounding you in something older and wiser than modern life. As you move through Nicaragua's forests, a quiet realization emerges. Nature does not rush. It adapts. It waits. It endures. And in that endurance, there is strength. The wild places of this country are not just beautiful. They are instructive. They teach patience, respect, and humility. Leaving the forest, you carry more than memories. You carry a recalibrated sense of scale, a reminder that life thrives not through control, but through balance. Nicaragua's wilderness does not seek admiration. It simply exists, vibrant and unapologetic, inviting those who enter to remember what it means to belong to the natural world. There are places where history feels distant, sealed behind glass and plaques. And then there is Nicaragua, where the past still breathes through streets, voices, and everyday rituals. In this country, culture is not preserved as a memory. It is lived, repeated, and reshaped with every generation. To understand Nicaragua, you have to listen to its people, walk its towns, and feel how tradition moves quietly through modern life. Colonial cities like Granada reveal this connection instantly. Colorful facades line narrow streets, their walls painted in deep blues, warm yellows, and faded reds. These colors are not chosen for show. They reflect identity, pride, and continuity. Courtyards hide behind wooden doors, filled with plants, fountains, and shade, offering refuge from the heat and space for conversation. Life here unfolds slowly, intentionally. Church bells echo across plazas, marking time not by urgency, but by rhythm. Central squares remain gathering places, just as they have for centuries. Families sit together in the evening. Vendors pass by with familiar calls. Children play under the watchful eyes of neighbors. These scenes feel timeless, not because nothing has changed, but because the core values have endured. Music flows naturally through Nicaraguan life. It emerges during celebrations, religious festivals, and everyday moments. Traditional rhythms blend indigenous roots with Spanish and African influences, creating sounds that feel both joyful and reflective. Music here is not background noise. It is a language of emotion, memory, and connection, carrying stories that words alone cannot express. Food is another expression of cultural continuity. Meals are simple, rooted in local ingredients, and shared generously. Corn, beans, plantains, and fresh cheese form the foundation of many dishes, prepared with care rather than complexity. Eating is a social act, a moment to pause and connect. Recipes are passed down, altered slightly, but always tied to family and place. Handcrafted art plays a quiet but powerful role in daily life. Pottery, wood carving, textiles, and paintings reflect both tradition and personal expression. Markets become galleries of living culture, where each item carries the mark of its maker. These crafts are not produced for distance or display alone. They are meant to be used, touched, and integrated into life. Religion and spirituality weave gently through Nicaragua's cultural fabric. Faith is visible in churches, processions, and small roadside altars, yet it is expressed with warmth rather than formality. Celebrations blend devotion with music, color, and community. These moments bring people together, reinforcing shared identity and belonging. In rural areas, traditions feel especially close to the land. Farming practices follow natural cycles. Stories are shared orally, shaped by experience rather than record. Elders carry knowledge not written down, but deeply understood. There is respect for ancestry here, for the wisdom that comes from listening and observing over time. What defines Nicaraguan culture most clearly is resilience. History has brought challenges, change, and hardship. Yet the spirit of the people remains open and grounded. Humor survives. Hospitality endures. There is pride without arrogance, strength without hardness. Culture here adapts without losing its core. Modern influences continue to arrive, as they do everywhere, but they do not erase what came before. Instead, they layer gently on top. New ideas find space alongside old ones. The result is a culture that feels honest, flexible, and deeply human. To experience Nicaragua's culture is to feel welcomed without being entertained, included without being performed for. It is an invitation to observe, to participate quietly, and to respect what already exists. Long after the streets fade from view, the warmth of these moments stays with you, reminding you that culture lives not in monuments, but in people, and in the simple act of sharing life together. There's a side of Nicaragua that reveals itself not through landmarks or landscapes, but through moments shared with people. It is found in conversations, gestures, and the quiet generosity that shapes daily life. This is a country where hospitality is not a concept. It is a habit, practiced naturally and without expectation. From the first greeting, there is a sense of openness. Smiles come easily. Questions are asked with genuine interest. Whether in a city street, a rural village, or a coastal town, people acknowledge each other with warmth. Life here values connection, and that value is reflected in every interaction. Communities in Nicaragua remain tightly woven. Neighbors know one another. Families extend beyond immediate relatives to include friends and long-standing acquaintances. Doors are often open, both literally and figuratively. Sharing food, space, and time is part of the social fabric. No occasion is too small to invite someone in. Markets offer a clear window into this spirit. Vendors greet customers by name. Conversations stretch beyond transactions, and humor flows as easily as goods. These places are not just centers of commerce. They are meeting points where daily life unfolds in public view. Stories are exchanged. News is shared. Relationships are maintained. In rural areas, this sense of community deepens further. Life moves at a slower pace, shaped by the land and seasons. People rely on one another, and that reliance builds trust. Work is often shared. Harvests are celebrated together. Challenges are faced collectively. There is an understanding that survival and well-being are communal efforts. Hospitality in Nicaragua is quiet and sincere. Guests are offered what is available, even when resources are limited. A chair is pulled out. A meal is shared. Time is given freely. There is no performance, no obligation to impress. The act itself carries meaning. It says you are welcome, simply because you are here. Stories play an important role in daily life. They are told casually, often without clear beginnings or endings. History, humor, and personal experience blend naturally. These stories are not told to preserve the past alone, but to connect people in the present. Listening becomes an act of participation. Celebrations reflect the same values. Festivals, birthdays, and religious events are community affairs. Music, food, and laughter fill shared spaces. There is a sense of collective joy, rooted in togetherness rather than spectacle. Even during difficult times, people find ways to gather, to mark moments, and to affirm life. What stands out most is resilience expressed through kindness. Nicaragua's history includes hardship and uncertainty, yet bitterness has not defined its people. Instead, there is patience, adaptability, and a deep sense of dignity. Strength here is not loud. It is steady, expressed through care for others and commitment to daily life. Time feels different in these moments. Conversations are not rushed. Silence is allowed. Presence matters more than productivity. This slower rhythm invites reflection, encouraging you to notice details often overlooked. A shared laugh, a pause before a reply, a simple moment of understanding. As you move through Nicaragua, these human connections become the most lasting memories. Landscapes impress, architecture inspires, but it is the people who give the country its soul. Their warmth lingers long after the journey continues. In the end, Nicaragua teaches a simple truth. Places are remembered not only for what they show, but for how they make you feel. Here, that feeling is one of welcome, belonging, and quiet humanity. And once experienced, it stays with you. A reminder that the richest journeys are measured in connection, not distance. There comes a moment on any journey when the pieces begin to come together, when landscapes, culture, and human connection coalesce into a deeper understanding. In Nicaragua, that moment arrives slowly, but unmistakably. After volcanoes, lakes, forests, and coasts, after cities alive with history and streets humming with life, you realize that the country is not just a place to see, it is a place to feel, to absorb, and to carry with you long after you leave. From the moment you set foot in this land, Nicaragua announces itself with contrasts. Fire and water exist side by side. The Pacific's restless waves meet the calm expanse of Lake Nicaragua. Volcanoes dominate the horizon, yet towns nestle safely in their shadows. Rainforests thrive, yet humans live here in harmony with their rhythms. These juxtapositions are not random. They are the essence of the country. They teach patience, humility, and awe. Cities like Granada and León reveal the human side of Nicaragua, the soul shaped by centuries of triumph, struggle, and creativity. Granada's colonial streets show how beauty can endure when treated with respect, how light, color, and architecture can tell stories without words. León pulses with energy, intellect, and courage, reminding visitors that ideas, art, and debate are as vital to a nation as its rivers and mountains. Walking these streets, you sense the continuity of life, the way history is carried forward by the people who live it daily. But Nicaragua is more than its cities. Its natural landscapes are alive, dynamic, and humbling. Volcanoes like Masaya and Cerro demand both respect and fascination. Their presence reminds you that life here is intertwined with powerful forces. Lake Nicaragua and Ometepe Island demonstrate balance, water and fire, reflection and vitality, stillness and energy. On the Pacific coast, waves invite action and courage. On the Caribbean side, the sea encourages reflection and patience. These landscapes do not merely exist. They interact with you, shaping perspective and feeling. Even in the country's wildest areas, Nicaragua's human presence is notable, not intrusive, but connected. Forests teem with life, yet communities live in rhythm with them. Indigenous traditions persist. Culture thrives in both urban and rural spaces, expressed through music, food, art, and daily ritual. People here maintain their stories, their heritage, and their connection to land, all while embracing change when necessary. This is a nation that respects its past without being trapped by it. What unites all these experiences is authenticity. Nicaragua has not been molded to please tourists. It has not surrendered to modernity at the expense of identity. It remains real, honest, and approachable. Streets, villages, beaches, and forests retain the textures of life itself, and those who visit are invited to witness, participate, and reflect. This authenticity is not loud or performative. It whispers, and it resonates long after departure. As you move through Nicaragua, you begin to sense a rhythm, a heartbeat that belongs neither solely to the land nor solely to its people, but to their combined existence. Volcanoes pulse with energy, lakes shimmer with calm, rainforests hum with life, towns bustle with human connection. All of it forms a pattern of resilience, beauty, and presence that is uniquely Nicaraguan. The final lesson of this journey is subtle yet profound. Nicaragua teaches that travel is not only about seeing remarkable places, it is about feeling them, letting landscapes, people, and culture shape your perception of the world. Here, each encounter leaves an imprint. Each sight carries a weight beyond the visual. Each moment asks you to pause, observe, and engage. In reflection, Nicaragua's power lies in its contrasts and its continuity, its strength and gentleness, its past and present coexisting in harmony. From volcanic peaks to quiet lakes, from colonial streets to forested paths, the country offers lessons in resilience, balance, and wonder. It reminds travelers that the most extraordinary journeys are not measured by the number of destinations reached, but by the depth of experience felt along the way. And as the sun sets over the Pacific, the lake shimmers in the golden light, and forests settle into quiet, you understand that Nicaragua is not simply a place you visit. It is a story you carry, a rhythm you internalize, a living testament to the power of nature, culture, and human connection intertwined. By the time you leave, you are no longer only a visitor. You are part of the land's ongoing story, and its essence stays with you forever. There is a rhythm in Nicaragua that becomes impossible to ignore once you have traveled its landscapes, walked its streets, and listened to its people. It is a rhythm defined by balance between fire and water, mountains and valleys, past and present, chaos and calm. The country does not announce its lessons loudly. Instead, they arrive subtly, in moments that demand attention and reflection. By the time you reach the final stretches of your journey, this rhythm begins to feel familiar, almost intimate. The volcanic landscapes of Nicaragua leave a lasting impression. Masaya, with its glowing lava, Cerro Negro, with its raw black slopes, and the hidden craters scattered across the country, all remind you that life is built atop powerful forces. Each volcano is unique, yet they share the ability to command presence without needing to speak. Their quiet authority teaches humility and perspective, reinforcing the understanding that the natural world operates on a scale far beyond human control. Walking near these peaks, feeling the warmth of the earth, smelling sulfur in the air, you sense both awe and respect, a connection to something eternal. Beyond the fire of the volcanoes lies the calm of Lake Nicaragua, the largest freshwater lake in Central America. Its surface stretches like glass under the sun, reflecting clouds and the silhouettes of distant mountains. The lake is not passive. It is alive with movement, supporting fishing communities, small islands, and wildlife that thrive along its edges. Ometepe, the island with twin volcanoes, emerges like a living sculpture, balancing the drama of Concepcion with the forested serenity of Madeiras. Here, the lake teaches patience, reminding travelers that true beauty often unfolds slowly and quietly. Nicaragua's forests provide another kind of lesson. Dense, humid, and teeming with life, they contrast sharply with the open expanses of water and the starkness of volcanic slopes. Walking beneath the canopy, you are enveloped in layers of green, the sunlight filtering through leaves in delicate patterns. Every sound, from the distant call of a howler monkey to the rustle of unseen creatures, emphasizes the complexity and richness of the ecosystem. Time slows here. You notice details previously overlooked. The texture of bark, the movement of a bird's wings, the smell of damp earth. The forest demands attention, but in return, it rewards presence with moments of wonder and revelation. Life in Nicaragua's cities and towns complements these natural experiences. Granada, with its colonial architecture, cobblestone streets, and brightly colored houses, demonstrates how history and everyday life coexist. León, vibrant and intellectual, shows how culture, art, and political consciousness shape identity. These cities are not static museums. They are living, breathing, and dynamic. In the central squares, markets, and cafes, you witness continuity, resilience, and human warmth. Tradition is visible not as a relic, but as a practice, alive and evolving. The coasts of Nicaragua further deepen the understanding of balance. The Pacific Ocean arrives with energy, driving surfers into waves and shaping dramatic sunsets along the shore. The Caribbean Sea moves differently, calm, reflective, and intimate, reflecting the cultural richness of its communities. Both coasts illustrate how diversity within a single country can coexist without conflict, and how geography influences not only landscapes but also lifestyles and rhythms of life. Nicaragua's people are perhaps its most enduring feature. Hospitality is not a performance but a habit, practiced in homes, markets, and towns. Conversations are genuine, smiles are easy, and generosity is evident even in small gestures. In rural villages, Communities maintain a deep connection to the land, honoring traditions while adapting to modern challenges. In cities, culture, music, and art thrive, blending history with creativity. This human element ensures that every journey through the country is layered, personal, and unforgettable. By the time you reach the final chapter of your journey, it becomes clear that Nicaragua is not a country defined by a single feature. It is defined by contrast, relationships, and harmonies. Volcanoes teach power and humility. Lakes teach reflection and patience. Forests teach presence and attention. Cities teach resilience and continuity. People teach connection and generosity. Each element complements the others, creating a mosaic that is larger than the sum of its parts. And yet, despite the magnitude of its landscapes and the depth of its culture, Nicaragua remains approachable, intimate, and authentic. There is no pretense, no rush, no overwhelming spectacle. Instead, there is space. Space to observe, to reflect, and to feel. Visitors are invited not to conquer or collect experiences, but to immerse, to internalize, and to understand. By the time you leave, the country's rhythm lingers within, subtle yet unmistakable, shaping perception, thought, and memory long after the journey has ended. There is a certain quiet that accompanies the final days of a journey through Nicaragua, a stillness that allows the textures of the country to settle in your mind. After volcanoes, lakes, forests, coasts, and cities, you begin to notice patterns, connections, and rhythms that were invisible at first glance. Nicaragua is not a place that announces itself with fanfare or grandeur. Its lessons are subtle, carried in wind, water, soil, and human interaction, revealed fully only to those willing to observe deeply. The volcanic regions remain the most dramatic illustration of this rhythm. From the glowing crater of Masaya to the sharp slopes of Cerro Negro, the land reminds you of creation's raw intensity. Volcanic soil, black and rich, supports agriculture that sustains communities, demonstrating how destruction and life are intertwined. Farmers plant and harvest on terrain once scorched by fire, showing resilience born from adaptation. The volcanoes are not merely landmarks, they are teachers, silently instructing patience, respect, and humility. Lake Nicaragua continues to offer a different kind of reflection. Its waters stretch far beyond the eye, connecting towns and islands in a calm, constant embrace. On Ometepe, the twin volcanoes dominate the landscape, yet human presence harmonizes with nature. Villagers cultivate fields along the slopes, children play along the shoreline, and fishermen move quietly across the lake's glassy surface. Here, the intersection of human life and natural grandeur becomes palpable. The lake does not merely exist for observation. It shapes experience, perspective, and memory. Forests, dense and layered, provide another dimension to understanding the country. They are alive with sound and motion, howler monkeys calling across canopies, parrots flying overhead, insects humming in constant background rhythm. Walking these trails, you realize that every layer of vegetation has a story. Trees are not isolated individuals, but part of a larger network, interacting with soil, water, and animal life. This ecological interconnection mirrors the social interconnection found in Nicaraguan communities, creating a sense that every element, human or natural, is part of a broader whole. The cities provide a human counterpoint to these natural systems. Granada's colonial charm, León's intellectual vitality, and the smaller towns scattered across the country reveal a people deeply tied to place. Streets carry centuries of memory. Markets buzz with commerce and conversation. Music drifts from open windows, blending with the scent of local cuisine. Here, culture is not preserved behind glass. It is performed, lived, and absorbed by those who engage with it. Observing this dynamic teaches visitors that life's richness often comes from participation, not passive observation. Nicaragua's coasts, in contrast, offer movement and rhythm in new forms. The Pacific Ocean arrives with force, carving beaches and inviting surfers to test its waves. The Caribbean Sea moves with a gentler cadence, providing sustenance, relaxation, and cultural richness for the communities along its shores. Both coasts illustrate the diversity within the nation, the way geography shapes life, how energy and calm can coexist, and how adaptation ensures harmony with the environment. Each coastline tells a different story, yet both contribute to the country's overarching narrative. Even more powerful than landscapes or cities are the people of Nicaragua. Their warmth, generosity, and resilience leave lasting impressions. Hospitality is not a practice reserved for tourists. It is woven into daily life. Conversations extend beyond necessity. Shared meals become lessons in culture, and everyday acts of kindness reveal values that endure, despite economic or environmental challenges. Observing these interactions reinforces an essential understanding. A country is defined as much by its people as by its physical features. By now, the themes of Nicaragua become clear: resilience, balance, and authenticity. Volcanoes remind of power and humility. Lakes teach reflection. Forests demand presence. Cities offer continuity and connection. Coasts provide energy and tranquility. And people, ever present, infuse every space with spirit, creativity, and humanity. Together, these elements form a complex, living mosaic, one that cannot be fully appreciated in snapshots or brief visits, but requires immersion, observation, and thoughtful engagement. As daylight fades and the country transitions from day to night, you witness another layer of Nicaragua. The Pacific glows under sunsets. Forests grow quiet. Streets soften with lamplight, and the Caribbean remains calm and reflective. These moments feel like gentle punctuation, a chance to absorb, process, and connect with what you have experienced. They remind travelers that the end of a journey does not signify completion, but reflection, a space where memory, understanding, and emotion converge. In this final reflection, Nicaragua's true lesson emerges. Travel is not merely about seeing remarkable sights. It is about understanding relationships between nature and humanity, past and present, activity and stillness. By engaging with all these elements, you carry away more than images. You carry awareness, empathy, and a sense of balance. The country does not ask to be conquered or collected. It invites presence, introspection, and respect. And those who accept this invitation leave with more than memories. They leave with part of Nicaragua itself embedded in their consciousness, a rhythm that lingers long after departure. As our journey through Nicaragua comes to an end, one thing becomes clear. This country is more than its volcanoes, lakes, or forests. It is the rhythm of its people, the pulse of its landscapes, and the quiet, enduring beauty that lingers long after the sun sets. From the dramatic shores of the Pacific to the calm embrace of Lake Nicaragua, from the vibrant streets of Granada and León to the untamed forests and coasts, Nicaragua invites you to explore, reflect, and connect. If you've enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to explore the world's most incredible wonders with us. Nicaragua is waiting, and this is only the beginning of the adventure.